HOA Karen borrowed money from black veteran and refused to return. And what Neighbors did? Imagine this. Your neighborhood, HOA president comes to you, desperate, begging for money. Out of kindness you help. But when the time comes to pay you back, she smugly says, "Oh, I deducted it from your fees." Except, you've already paid every penny. Now she's not just a liar, she's a thief in disguise. But what happens when the whole neighborhood finds out and turns the tables on her? Trust me, you don't want to miss how this veteran exposed HOA Karen and left her humiliated forever. Stick around, this story is unbelievable. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon. In a peaceful suburban neighborhood, there lived a retired black veteran named James Walker. James was respected by everyone. He had served his country honorably and now spent his days enjoying his garden, fishing by the lake, and sharing wisdom with the kids in the community. But there was one person who didn't respect James, the HOA president, often called Karen by the neighbors because of her bossy and entitled ways. She always had something to say about people's lawns, fences, or even the color of their front doors. One day, Karen approached James in a way nobody expected. She said she was in a temporary financial jam and asked if she could borrow money for just 1 month. Out of kindness, James agreed. He thought, she may be difficult, but if I can help her, why not? A loan between neighbors should build trust, not break it. James handed over the money without hesitation, thinking it would all be returned on time. Little did he know, this act of kindness would turn into a storm of betrayal. A month later, James approached Karen politely, reminding her of the money she borrowed. Instead of gratitude, Karen gave him the most shocking reply. "Oh, don't worry about it," she said smugly. "I already deducted it from your HOA maintenance fees." James was stunned. "What maintenance fees?" he asked. He had already paid every penny of his dues for the year. Karen was twisting the truth, using her HOA position as an excuse not to return what she owed. When James calmly reminded her that his HOA payments were fully up to date, Karen crossed her arms and said, "Well, then consider it a credit for the future." Either way, you're not getting that cash back. James realized what had just happened. Karen wasn't borrowing money, she was scamming him. And worse, she thought she could get away with it just because of her position in the HOA. But James was not a man to be played with. His years in the military had taught him about fairness, respect, and standing up against injustice. And this time he was going to teach Karen a lesson. James didn't yell, he didn't threaten. Instead, he did something smarter. He simply told the truth. The next weekend, when the neighborhood gathered for their usual cookout by the lake, James explained everything. He told the neighbors how Karen had borrowed money and refused to pay it back, hiding behind fake HOA excuses. The community was shocked, but then they started laughing. They realized their so-called powerful HOA president was nothing more than a borrower who couldn't keep her word. By Monday morning, neighbors took it a step further. Someone made a huge wooden board and planted it right in James's front yard. On it, written in bold black paint, were just 2 words, HOABEGGAR. The sight became the talk of the entire community. Kids giggled when they walked past. Parents whispered about Karen's behavior, and the once feared HOA president suddenly became the neighborhood's biggest joke. Karen tried to fight back. She stormed into James's yard, demanding he remove the board. But James calmly replied, "It wasn't me. It was the neighbors you lied to and disrespected." Everywhere she went, people whispered and smirked. The woman who once ruled the neighborhood with threats and fines now had no authority left. Even the HOA board members turned their backs on her. Within weeks, Karen couldn't take the embarrassment anymore. She resigned as HOA president, packed up her things, and left town altogether. And James? He didn't just get his dignity back, he gained even more respect from his neighbors. People now saw him not only as a veteran who served the country, but also as a man who stood up to dishonesty and exposed it with truth. In the end, Karen's greed cost her everything, while James's integrity gave him victory. And the neighborhood learned a valuable lesson. When you lie and steal, karma always catches up, sometimes with a signboard in front of the whole block.